China, they are able to uh, control the pollution from every sector, and their implementation is very strong. For example, recently I was working in a project of the China's success in air pollution control. I found that every provinces and every cities, they have capped the total emission load. For example, steel plant, they are permitting in a particular province where the steel plants are located only 20 million ton. And same thing in our country, if you see, we are only producing 140 million ton of steel. Compared to China, it is very, very less. But still, we are not able to manage the thing because the poor implementation of the law. What is the reason? We in the Central Pollution Control Board and Ministry of Environment and Forest generate, do lot of work and develop the standards and guidelines, notified it. But when the implementation things comes, it goes to the State Pollution Control Board hands. And there because the lack of technical knowledge or skill, they are not able to implement it. They are not able to understand the thing and they do only the paperwork. So this is a big gap. Same thing in pollution control, vehicular pollution control. For example, in Delhi, nowadays they are facing tremendous problem. But you see the PUC type of system which we have introduced for in-use vehicle emission control, it is required a lot of improvement. You can go to the any petrol pump and pay 100 rupees and get a certificate that your emission from the vehicular exhaust is well within the limit. But actually it is not so. So these are the three things. If you take the example of the recently the CAQM have put a ban on the use of coal all over NCR, and we have started that CNG should be used. But if you go to the field, if you find that people are not properly enforcing those things, PNG pipeline connection they have taken, but still the back door they are running with the. We have more than 1,100 manual air quality monitoring stations. We have more than 350 online continuous monitoring stations. But the quality of data generated in many parts of the country, because I have recently started going to the field and checking what are the location of the station, whether the instruments are calibrated or not. There's a big gap. I'm very perturbed to see the quality of the station maintenance, barring Delhi. I think if you go to the UP or the Haryana, or Punjab or Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, everywhere I've seen the data generation is very poor. And that is the reason why suddenly found that the Begussarai or Gaya, where there is no industry, no vehicles, not vehicles, very less vehicles, their air quality levels are very high and become one of the world's largest air pollution hotspot is the Begussarai. How it is possible? Because the instruments are not calibrated, instruments which are used, the data are not correct, and on the basis of that we are generating the AQI, and every day we are giving this thing. I feel that that is the area which is again a part of the implementation, is a proper operation and maintenance and calibration of the equipment, and for that if you give this work to the pollution control board, it will not happen. So we should have, in the law we have to amend it and put some agencies, third party agencies who can do the audit and check the data, quality of data. NEERI can play a very important role, and then CSR, other laboratories can play a very important role, IITs can play a very important role to auditing of all the monitoring network. Otherwise, always this problem will be there, the quality of the data. On the basis of that, everything we are doing, all our national clean air action plan are based upon the air quality data. We are spending thousands of crores of rupees on implementation of the NCAP. And when the data, our base is weak, then you can see that the result will not be good. So with these 2-3 things, I fully emphasize that the work which is being started by Dr. Jain and his team is very important. We require a lot of amendment in our laws, and a lot of training is required to the pollution control board people for that proper management of the air quality management, and these are the things. So I am stopping here, but I am available during the discussion. I can throw more light on many other things which is required for the air pollution control. Thank you very much.
We both were very active to collect data. CPCB did on air quality and NEERI did on water quality. we did go through, but we have a plethora of legislations and regulations. But as Dr. Sengupta said, the implementation or enforcement is very weak. But definitely there is a gap in the legislation and the regulation also. So I'm very happy that this particular project which Dr. Suresh Jain has taken up, I should thank you for inviting me in this particular issue and enrich our knowledge. So to further that, he has also planned for certain workshops, training programs and creating awareness. And one more thing is if you can do a sort of a linkages between the various laws, because environmental laws are scattered. Implementation is poor, but the handicap is because of the consolidation of the laws which is not there. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, ma'am. Yes, this is the day where we have to really remember the disaster. First time in the country we realized the disaster is like this. And we saw that so many things we are not prepared. On files, papers, which normally we know, all the disaster management plan or risk management plans are there. It shows that how exactly it happens, and there is a small, can say, series on the this Bhopal case study. You can realize, like you can visualize at least something how it was painful and how the industries. And after that, you see so many disasters happen. Like Dr. B.C. Gupta is there, Dr. Goel is there. So many disasters are happening. I realized a couple of years back in Andhra Pradesh, LG Polymer. So there was a disaster. So you see, sometimes you see things are there on paper, but we don't know how exactly when the really it's really required, it's going to be useful or not. So that's where we have to see. It should not be on paper. It should be really happening the way it is supposed to be designed. So with this word, I will invite Dr. Goel to say a few words.
I'm in until 2016 I was at Nagpur enjoying the clean air, clear skies, and suddenly I was transferred to Delhi to take care of the Delhi office of NEED. And just after 2 months, I started feeling the pain of air pollution. I was joined here on 1st of September 2016, and 31st of October, I think the air pollution scenario started. And since then, the journey has been with the air pollution. Living with the air pollution, feeling the pain, being in Delhi, and really we enjoy whenever we go outside on tour during this period. I went to Jamshedpur, found wonderful, very clear skies. Nagpur, I go, wonderful, very clear skies during November, December months. Enjoy the sight. So this is the pain. I think most of the people who are living in Delhi or visiting Delhi, they are feeling the same kind of concern. Now, technically, as a part of institute, we did couple of important studies for Delhi NCR region, particularly addressing the stubble burning issue. What is the contribution of stubble burning in Delhi? What is the airshed boundary of Delhi? Because whatever comes for the implementation, it is implied for the entire NCR, whether it is required or not. That working in some field where the air pollution is regularly getting generated, how to minimize that? Ultimately, the source becomes important. We did with EDF, Dr. Basu is there, with couple of projects with EDF on how we identify the hot spots, how the local sources can be mapped, what could be the air pollution management strategy. Implementation again. That is the point where we always feel कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे उसमें, because that is beyond our domain. Someone else has to do it. Someone has to first to understand and then to do it. But let us keep a hope, and the institutes like again Professor Jain and IIT, other IITs, other institutes all together. I think someday will come that we'll be able to do this. We will be able to come out of this problem and have 18 days. Clear days. अच्छा वो सितंबर में मना लेते हैं clear sky day. I think that should be shifted to November actually, just to see again, can we make it? And it can be, but only thing we have to work towards that. Thank you very much. I wish that this will be a very important aspect that we understand, reinforce our understanding and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goel. We are in Delhi. What shall I move from Delhi? And now you see recently the narrative started, shall we move our capital somewhere? Means, are these the solutions? Like going away is the problem, it's not going to be the solutions, right? So it means what you mentioned correctly, like until we really think through, we will not be able to manage. So thank you very much, sir, for your important words which shared, like how even from your journey you really feel the place really matters and the environment really matters. So with this word, I invite Shubham to share few words and then we'll go to the release of the reports.
And be very for my initial discussion with MOFCC, where I said I want to conduct the first global environmental assessment on air pollution in the country. Uh, that first meeting happened, and then there was no meeting for the next 6 months. Because the legal and the environment and the assessment terms coming together was a tricky challenge, and specifically this is a part of a global European Union project. It's being implemented in Ethiopia, Mongolia, and India. So the findings are being shared globally. Like this project was talked about in the UN General Assembly last year. So the outreach is pretty big. The idea was how to make sure that we utilize this NEA in a way that this is built upon and the issues which the esteemed panel has talked about, implementation and data, can be related to it. So we had a methodology, and what we did was we actually have sort of went through and analyzed all existing policies of air pollution which we have in the country, specifically around NCAP, and we will plan to have something specifically on NCAP sometime later. But the idea is to have that initial discussion of what is missing, what is the gap which we want to work upon when we talk about air pollution in the country. And I guess we have pretty good findings, and which Dr. Suresh will talk about later. Uh, Apart from that, we have one more study which is in process. We have a guideline on how to develop a multi-sectoral action plan. We have been talking about multi-sectoral action plan, and because I come from a disaster management base, air pollution is being guided as a slow onset disaster, like drought. But what I suggest and what I think is eventually it will be a very immediate effect disaster when we'll see 10 years down the line the impact on human health immediately happening. And because today in Indian Express there is a huge article which talks about the extreme disaster which is going to happen a decade from now with humans and specifically people living in Delhi on the lung and related diseases. So the idea now is to have at least some basic information, start working on that, start making to sort of make sure that we implement a few projects on ground. We are actually implementing a few data specific projects for Amritsar, Patna, and Gurgaon. We will talk about that later. So I'll not take much time, and I guess we should start the discussion round anymore. Over to you.
As I mentioned, you like jumping into directly with the solutions will not help you always, and you lose the time. Like already I told you, NCAP started in 2019. Now we are in 2024, right? More than 5 years, but still things are not in a structured way, right? And the third report, like you see, it's an investment case where UNDP have seen the damage cost and then how if you go with the certain measures, how the benefits are there. So sometimes it's very important because finance has to give an understanding. Like for example, we have worked on the feasibility study of the stubble burning related issues. And if you move to different, you can say measures, for example, diversification. So how to go with this? What is the benefit to the farmers? What is the benefit to the society, and so on and so forth. So until you will not go with such cases, it's very difficult to take a decision. And once these such numbers are there, it will be easy for the decision makers to take a call how to go which direction and what are the intended benefits are. So these reports are available. We definitely will share with you. And soft copy we will be definitely going to share where like you can have an easy access for the reports as well. Dr. S.K.
Wait. Okay.